Welcome to the We Shine Well podcast, where I have real conversations with thought leaders in wellness to help you live your most vibrant, aligned, and purposeful life. I'm your host, Zoe Kelsey, founder of We Shine Well. Here, we share honest stories, gems of wisdom, and insight to spark clarity and guide your next right step, so you can shine brighter from the inside out. Now let's dive in. Today, I'm joined by Kodi Berg, founder and CEO of Equipt movement and someone who is truly reimagining what movement can look like in real life. Kodi comes from a background in modeling and acting, and when she became a mother, she noticed something missing in the fitness world. Movement that felt accessible, beautiful, and integrated into daily life. Equipt was born from the belief that design can inspire movement and that you shouldn't need special clothes or a perfect routine to move your body. In this conversation, we talk about lifestyle-led movement, intentional growth, community, and the courage to not know everything as you build. It's honest, refreshing, and inspiring. Let's dive in. Hi, Kodi. I am so excited to have you here today. I feel like you're just such a vibrant spirit and soul and just so creative in literally everything that you do.
Why, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, well, we were talking so much before this, so I'm like, we just need to start recording now.
Right.
So just first off, you've had such a fun career in various different outlets, from modeling and acting, motherhood, and entrepreneurship. What has prompted all of these shifts for you to be where you are today? And you're welcome to share a little bit about your journey as well.
Sure. I mean, I think that growing up, I was like, oh, I'm totally going to be a marine biologist, also known as I just am a little girl and I want to swim with dolphins. Or like, I'm going to be a great lawyer, but I'm not a great, so that one scrapped because like, I'm not a great swimmer. I nail Pilates in the shallow end wearing their U-wraps, but like, don't put me on an ocean, I get scared. And I was like, I'll be a lawyer. Like those little, suit sets are so cute. And then I really don't like to like debate or argue. And I was like, I just get frustrated. I'm like, I don't know. I'm done. So clearly that wasn't the profession for me, but I always was a little bit of like, I wasn't someone who grew up being like, this is what I'm going to do. I know my skill sets. Let's go. I actually grew up, I'm partially from Wyoming, partially like school and everything was Ojai. When I was like 15, people were like, you should model. And a couple people said it, and I was like, I'll open the yellow pages. And opened the yellow pages in Ventura County and was like, modeling agency. And convinced my parents to be like, hey, yes, as long as your grades don't suffer, then you can do this and we'll take you down there. And that's kind of like, I guess the impetus for like the through line between everything I do is not really having, and now obviously it's shifted because it's been so many years of my life, but like, I never really had like the end goal in sight. It was a little bit impulsive, a little bit like, oh yeah, let's see what happens here. So that one decision, but also like making the decision and committing to it, right? So that one decision, like open the yellow pages, which now would be like, hey, ChatGPT, I want to do this, map out my steps. And the top 3 agencies that like, all shifted, but then it was yellow pages, but just being willing to be like, let's see what happens. What's the worst that happens? They're like, no, all 5 foot, almost 4 of you is not welcome, and instead I like booked the next job, went to the same agent that I had till I quit. They were amazing. And then also from like that, then someone came in and was like, hey, I want to put her in this show. And I was like, cool, that sounds fun. Like just being willing to try new things. And I think that's been even with like, I definitely adopt that even with motherhood, where I'm like, let's see what happens today. What are we going to do here? And then for Equipt, I mean, it was definitely like, I knew nothing about product engineering or designing and was like, own you. Like I had the idea. I was like an exhausted mom. Be like, why are weights so ugly? Like they are so end result oriented. They make me feel bad about myself. Like the YouTube was like, own you. I curse, I drink. Sometimes I'm all green juice. Sometimes I want my martini, but it's about like taking ownership of your decisions and your choices and yourself. And like that was, and even still, like so many of the products we're making, like there's one that we're coming out with in this specific material. This
Mhm.
is such a long-winded way. It's clearly my brain was like, bing, 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 bing.
We're
I
here
guess
for
that
it
was
all.
the overall headline, the bullet point would be like, not being scared that I didn't know what was going to happen in the end, being
Mhm.
not being scared to have someone be like, yeah, no. And also like
Mhm.
the amount of rejection that I experienced definitely has helped with entrepreneurship, whether it be like from a factory to a buyer to, we've had press come out and they're like, some people are like, that's brilliant. Especially back in the day, it's shifted. Now people are more receptive to like design led equipment. But when I first
Mhm.
were like, a giant gold U weight is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Because I
Mhm.
also didn't know that. I was like, oh, I really need to make sure that I'm putting my story and my why around it.
Yes. Mhm. Well, I feel like the through line that's so powerful is that you just have this undeniable intuition and kind of trust in yourself and this is a full body yes, I'm gonna go with this and pivot as it makes sense and then follow the breadcrumbs of like what is that right next step for me, what sparks my interest, how can I follow that, and
Yeah.
how can you even surround yourself with people that like rally around, like I even think of I think of like that YouTube video that went viral where there's like one person where it's like they're like just in a field dancing and people are like what are you doing, but then there are 100 people that join them because it's like there has to be that one person that starts a movement and might have like a wild idea like weights that are part of your lifestyle in your home, but like it's so innovative and just like the power of trusting yourself and those like steps along the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely do agree with the full body yes. And also like the course of growing, how many times I've had to be like, whether it be interviewing for someone to come onto the company, being like, oh, wait, no, something's not right in here. Like, I love that you say that. And is definitely, I am obsessed with like product design. So we're renovating our house and we're choosing like marble slabs. And I'm over there with my new friend, Brian, being like, what's that tool that you're working with? Like, that's pretty beautiful. Like, what kind of millimeters can you hit with your hydrojet? And my husband's like, we're supposed to be looking at kitchen slabs. I'm like, that's not that interesting to me. Like, I have something in my head that I'm going to see if he can make. Cut to by the end that we met, like left the marble yard and they're making something that I see in my head for me.
Oh
And
my gosh.
they were like, this is definitely, we've seen it all. Cause I was on the ground doing Pilates with their samples, like using
Oh
them in
my
certain ways.
gosh.
And they're like, hmm.
You're like, this
So
is just the way of living.
it's back to your point of like trusting instincts, being willing to like look weird. My
Mhm.
girlfriend, Sandra Fox, she's an amazing interior designer. And we became friends at like 21. And she still laughs because like our U wraps that I still to this day go hiking. We were just talking about how we're going to do like
Mhm.
Friday hiking event in Ojai. But Sandra was laughing because she was like, of course, this is what you ended up doing. Because we'd go for a hike in LA and I'd be like, okay, our moves, we circle, we lift, we circle. Lift. And she was like, I just walk. Mm-mm.
So for somebody who isn't familiar with like what your U wraps or U bars are, what are those?
um, we started with the U bar. It's literally everything is led by design, right?
Mhm.
Products that you want to reach for and feel good and feel sensual. And also like, before we jumped on today, I was like, all right, let's do my 5-minute movement session. I'm like, I'm in head to toe denim. Like I'm in my cowboy tuxedo, still moving, still having, and that's why we do a lot of these like no leggings required because I just don't
Mhm.
really wear leggings much. Um,
Mhm.
but the U bar is a super multifunctional weight, 11 by 14 inches. I patented the shape, all the things, and comes in 5 different colors, 4 different weight options. And literally you can use it for like the bend around it is like if you squeeze, your entire upper body's engaged, right?
Mhm.
So then everything lower body becomes full body, which is back to this idea of like efficiency too, and
Mhm.
like being time pressed, being, I was busy mom or also just like a tired mom. And I was like, make everything more efficient for me. So
Mhm.
this takes everything from your squats and lunges to a full body. You can also use it for Pilates. You can use it as a stretch block. You can use it for like dumbbells, right? Which is a terrible verbiage,
Mhm.
but like say you're here in your dumbbells, you're lifting, but if you have wrist issues, you can fold it a different way and hold it. So like my mom who's
Mhm.
in her 70s uses it in a different format. Um,
Mhm.
and I liked the idea too that it's like one piece that you can just like use it in a bunch of different ways. And then we came out with our U-Wraps, which are vegan leather post-consumer water bottles,
Mhm.
adjustable. Those started because I took my tailor a bag of sand and some gorgeous upholstery fabric and was like, hey, I see something in my head. Um,
Mhm.
can you make this that like slides on my, and this was years ago, again, back to the idea that like I had no end result. Entrepreneurship was not, there were no like amazing communities for women.
Mhm.
Entrepreneurship was not so trendy. Like I was just a fired soap actress who was like, yeah, I see something in my head that I think should live in the world. Like, how do I do this?
Mhm. Yeah. I
And so
mean, it's
that's
like,
wrist weights, launching a bunch more products this year.
mhm. I'm excited about all of those. So,
Yay.
you kind of touched on it, but has becoming a mom changed the way that you think about movement? And like, how did that spark Equipped or like support the evolution of it to support moms in movement being in every aspect of life, but also your audience at large?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wanted a fully integrated approach to movement, right? So I mean, I love to go to Pilates, but I also do tend to be someone more so that's at home. And that's honestly, we're like developing our first like kind of tech enabled thing, partially because I was like, you know what else I need? I need to have this.
Mhm.
But being a mom, I was like, oh, I'm going to go for like, I go for stroller hikes. I also being Ohio, Wyoming, like bring on the nature, you know?
Mhm.
And so strapping on our wrist weights and going for a hike with my daughter is just kind of what I would do and reframing the narrative around that not being fitness. That's why we're really intentional too with the verbiage.
Mhm.
We don't say we're not going to tone your abs, right? You can, you're going to get the same, you're going to tone your abs, but we're going to say like, let's get that core, like, which to me means let's enable all the parts of it. Let's make your posture.
Mhm.
Let's get you. And again, back to the ownership of the self and your choices. Like there are certain things that come with it. Like I know that if I am going on a trip or I have a shoot coming up, like I'm going to do more XYZ. But as a whole, my approach to movement is exactly that. It's what can I do for 8 minutes in the morning before the rest of the house wakes up so that I start the day moving my body in different planes and feeling grounded and solid. And yeah,
Mhm. And it sounds like there was just kind of this evolution where just the fitness world was not truly accessible
yeah,
or reflecting the life that you wanted to live or so many people that they wanted to live either.
yeah, very much so. I mean, I felt like dumbbells, you're not going to leave out on your coffee table, right?
Mhm.
There is like a power and a beauty. I keep joking that I want to do this like social media, but that's not a strength of mine, but I'm just going to film the shit.
Mhm.
But, like, there's power to impulse, you know?
Yeah.
If there's a lipstick sitting out there, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, great." If there's an open bottle of wine sitting on the counter and it's after 5, I might be like, "Meh, okay, I'll have a little bit." If there's a weight sitting on your counter, you're gonna grab it and
Mhm.
be like, "I'll take a minute and move my body." So it's
Mhm.
not about always the end result. It's about, and now I do think that the world of fitness and movement is in a different place. But when I started, it was also like, I need the mental release. I need the
Mhm.
emotion. I need the U shape. I haven't done enough again with this verbiage around it, but it really was like, I need this physical manifestation of this reminder of like, own you, like
Mm.
self love without being overt too.
Mhm.
Um, and I think there's a real power in that and not just being that like fitness. And again, we partner with some of the best trainers out there. Like you go into any Tracy Anderson, Formula by Meredith, like you go into a lot of these studios and it is equipped in there. So we're not, my mom's actually the one that's always funny. She's like, you're not just for like your minute moves at home, you are an effective workout tool also.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'm still figuring out how to like navigate both of the verbiage around those two things, but
Mhm.
they're not mutually exclusive. But just I tend to live more of the lifestyle movement at home, and I travel with it too. Everything.
Mhm. I mean, I love the concept of owning you too because it's meeting people exactly where they are, whether they want that intense workout or whether they want a 5-minute snackable workout routine that's going to help them like feel good. So like why is movement so important to you and like what does it unlock for you in your daily life?
Oh, I mean, I think, but just I want to say something too. When you were talking, then I was like, oh yeah, it is a little bit adding the design element. It removes that barrier to entry, which
Mhm.
traditional fitness can often be intimidating to people. So if you're like,
Yes.
hey, take a minute to move, and again, this doesn't just have like with anything, I always say like toss on one of your favorite songs and like move your body. And I guess to your question, like that's what movement means to me is like I toss on a song and I have a dance party with myself, usually to some country music. And next thing you know, like my endorphins are next level happy high, you know,
Mhm.
and then also with like I do it throughout the course of the day of when I'm transitioning from like the roles, right? So I take
Mhm.
top off. I get home before I'm transitioning from like this mom to like into my work zone. Usually in the morning, it's like, I'm going to take 15 minutes and I'm going to do my movement, right? And then it
Mhm.
helps mine go, okay, now I set my U-bar on my desk. I transition,
Mhm.
next role. Let's go. At about 12:30 when I'm stumped or feeling like overwhelmed, I'll be like, just going to do one move for like 10 seconds. You know, it can literally be like this, but
Mhm.
let that flow. And then it removes that mental block because I think that overwhelm is such a real thing, especially in this day and age where we're so
Yeah.
inundated with information and experiences and sounds and opinions. And to be like, I'm just going to, I'm just going to breathe for a beat and
Mhm.
get from there. And then also with like, I mean, movement also, it's health. Like my mom still is 77, 76. She just called. She's running to Costco to get me some new towels. Um, uh, but I mean, she still is doing hiking and yoga, and it's longevity has become such a buzzword, but that is truly like what it enables. It enables you to have a life that you can still keep hiking and learn. I think that it's really important to always be learning new things,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
movement helps us to have a body that can do that. And of course, it is a confidence too. Like I like feeling like, yeah, I've got
Mhm. Yeah. And it's truly that like mind body connection as well. And based on even like when you're talking, it makes me think about like everybody is unique and having these moments might even be more powerful and probably is for a lot of people to have these moments of movement in the transition or like when you're stuck. Like I even know like when I'm in a rut, like I'll bring out my like mini trampoline and like blast a song that I love and I'm like, okay, like let's go. Like I've like released it because it's not just the movement, it's the mental component of like I'm taking care of myself. And if we're not moving either, like in the sense, like, we become stagnant both in our minds, in our bodies.
Yeah, I love that. Perfectly said. So
Mhm.
true.
Yeah, well, it's like lifestyle as a movement is just, like, so powerful, and I mean, I love leggings, and I know you mentioned no leggings required. I'm currently even wearing leggings recording this.
Well, that's
Um
this idea that like, I mean, I wear it like no matter what you're wearing. Like before I'm going out, if we've got like a fancy event, I'll do 5 minute move, even in my like cocktail dress. Like we were in London at the Minecraft premiere. And before we went out there, I was like, oh, I brought my U-bar, of course, and I'm in the room and it's doing these same moves before we go. Cause then also like, if you're something like that, like I do want to look I want to be as my best version and
Mhm.
the quick toning. And then also like, I'm feeling better because I've like moved and I've got my posture and I'm like, all right, let's go.
If somebody is in the mindset that I need an hour workout, I need to be super sweaty, like they're in this phase of like maybe becoming a mom or like they're crunched for time, what are these snackable ways or just like one way that they could start implementing just movement as a lifestyle?
Um, well, I think it's not about replacing what you're, because I have other girlfriends that are like, no, 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 I need 5 days a week in the gym or in my
Mhm.
Pilates class.
Yep.
And so about taking ownership of what you need.
Mm,
Um,
mhm.
and also, but then, you know, there's a fluidity to life, right? Everything has
Yes.
season. So now I've got more time because I've got a kid that's in school from 8 to 4. But
Mhm.
when she was younger, I had 2 hours. So it's about taking ownership of what you want to do with your time. And
Mhm.
also, it takes a village. So being like, okay, you know what? Hey, can she go with you after school, or can someone help me so that
Mhm.
I can get to the gym? Or if I'm not going to do that, how can I get the same? What am I looking for out of that experience?
Mhm.
Me? Is it yeah the sweaty fitness endorphin burst, or what are you looking for? And then I think from there, after you're like really clear about what you need out of your kind of movement journey, it's like, all
Mhm.
right, let's sit down. And I'm a terrible planner. I have gotten better, but my girlfriends will be like, what are you doing in 3 months? And I used to be like, no, don't talk to me about that. Now I'm like, okay, in 3 months, I'm launching this, I'm doing this, blah, blah. But it's about taking ownership of like, this is what I'm going to do for my Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This is also how I'm going to incorporate movement at home. And I'm going
Mhm.
to do the freeze dance, like
Mhm.
song. Be like, okay, freeze dance, but I have head to toe U wraps on.
Uh-huh.
And so she's getting her like fun, playful time.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I reference motherhood a lot because it's, you know, for the given reasons. But I mean, we've got people that keep them on their desk, right?
Mhm.
Sitting there like the weights welded in the back. So you could take it behind and be like, okay, I'm going to keep it here. And how am I going to incorporate more movement here? And I think it's just, again, I'm so circular with my answers to your questions, but it's about
No,
ownership of
they're
self,
great.
ownership of time, and also like being willing to look at things from a different lens.
Mhm.
So like, what does 20 minutes at home look like? Um,
Mhm.
how can you still kind of incorporate it? And then also, if you need that sweaty gym workout, yeah, get it and get the
Mhm.
system around to make sure that you are taking that for yourself.
Mhm. I love that intentionality about around like everything that you were saying because yeah, it goes back to like what is our intention of movement? How does it make us feel? And like where are the ways that we want to supplement, but it's like where's our mainstay too of like I'm going to the gym 3 to 5 days a week or whatever that might be and then just like having the U wraps, you just walk around or go on walks with those or whatever that might be and like look like for the given person.
On my ankles, under my trousers.
There you go. There you go. And we've talked about it a bit, but design is just like so important to you and you deeply care about your product design. How do you think design influences the way people move and live?
Ooh. I mean, I think there's something to I think that we want to be surrounded by things that make us feel, and it's a blessing to have like things that you love, right?
Mhm.
And it can be anything from a feather that you found on a hike to and having that there, and it's a reminder of something. So it's triggers of like positive memories. Hopefully it's not things that you leave around the house that evoke negative memories. Though, get that shit out of there. Um
Mhm.
but I think that design really is important because it creates a whole different experience. Right. And
Mhm.
as it pertains to movement, like I want to make it as easy as possible for me to bring movement into my journey and my life and my home. I mean, we
Mhm.
were in Italy and there was these like beautiful, I think there's so much beauty in life and in nature that you can get inspired by. And
Mhm.
then, I love taking that being like, how can I incorporate into a story? and a life.
Mhm.
I think that design is such a gift, and it's something like I'm looking at my desk here and I'm like, oh yeah, like this style of desk, like why did they come up with that? Like I used to spend a lot of time at like, furniture museums because you're like, it's something that has always existed, right? We've had chairs. They maybe made it
Mhm.
out of bales of hay or like buffalo hides and they evolved. And then, but it's how do you surround yourself with things that make you feel your best self yet again?
Mhm. Yeah. When you have such a creative eye, and I feel like it's like that quote, like when we shift the way we see things, the things we see start to change. And
Yeah.
when you have an eye that's always like, how can I innovate, or like, ooh, I'm seeing the beauty in all of that, and it's like all a learning experience versus being like blinders on, I'm living doing XYZ from point A to B.
Yeah. Well, and
Mhm.
back to like, you know, a little bit of the we've taken intentionally such a slow journey to growing the company, partially because I really do care about like the products that we make. And if I'm putting my time and my money into them, I want them something that like people are gonna love, right?
Mhm.
And I were just talking about like we are coming out with a weighted vest. And
Mhm.
we started with this idea of like you would die laughing if you saw my mood board because it's like
I wanna see it now.
like it's like straight up Jane Fonda. Like it's like I was like, "Oh, I want to feel like a total badass." Like I don't
Mhm.
feel like I'm like tasked with this chore because so much in life, and I do think there's a narrative almost too much these days of like not everything in life is pleasurable. Like
Mhm.
majority of work, I love what I do. Still work, you know?
Mhm.
And so when I'm strapping on a weighted vest and going for a hike or a stroll, I want to feel like I'm like, yeah, I'm getting out there. I'm conquering that world, and
Mhm.
started with we started with the mood board. Then we went to choosing the materials that you're going to see this weighted vest and it's not going to be hidden in your gym. It's going to be hanging in your closet and you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to toss this on over my slip dress today. And then I'm going
Mhm.
to, and I also really do appreciate like subtlety and this
Mhm.
idea. Those aren't speaking overtly to. I'm not a fitness like people when I started like you must be like a hardcore fitness person. I'm like
Mhm.
I'm a hardcore movement person. And that's
Mhm.
with design why we build these things is because I want to feel immediately I want you to reach for it. We have
Mhm.
a lot of really fun products coming. One of them I designed for a certain use case and also being willing to like continually evolve, right?
Yep.
So the first U wraps, I mean, again, it was like my tailor put some sand into it. So clearly that guy's not going to market. And then I found someone connect me to someone who was like, I was like, I have this idea in my head,
Mhm.
someone connect me to someone. And it was actually one of my best friends that like was like, okay, I got someone you should meet. Cut to six
Mhm.
months later. I was like, no, I want these to be vegan leather. No, they need to not have, I don't like that. Like, can we change that? So
Mhm.
being willing to continually innovate and also the vegan leather we started with was a polyurethane and now we're post-consumer water bottles where it was
Mhm.
neoprene, waterproof neoprene. Cause also there's so much advancements in material technology so that more
Mhm.
that we can kind of adopt that. And then people are like, oh, how do you clean these ink weights? Like whole place. Went to a friend that has an amazing clean beauty company. She was like,
Mhm.
just white label. Like, I was like, "You sure? Thanks." So, he gave me her product that she's innovated and developed, and it works on it's clean cleaning fitness equipment. Cuccio
Mhm.
Stomatology, shout out to Danielle. Um, but we partnered with her to bring it to market. So it's like also being willing to continue and also even there,
Mhm.
spray bottles. I was like, "Oh, that doesn't match what's in my head." But it doesn't need to look like a Le Labo bottle out the gate because people don't wanna care like, maybe they don't care that much for that to pay for that, right?
Mhm.
I just need to
Yeah.
get it to market, and then I can continually learn and be like, "Oh, you know what would actually be prettier? This, but for now, it's stainless steel and it's fine."
Mhm. Well, there you go. Well, and it's also like if you think about it, like we are attracted to like the beauty and uniqueness of things in life.
Yeah.
So if we're attracted to those, why would we not want to have that related to like our movement equipment that we have in our lives? Because if you are given the option to go like for the same price to go to a McDonald's or to go to a Michelin star restaurant, like which one are you more attracted to? I
Yes.
mean, I would say the Michelin star restaurant in a heartbeat.
Oh, yes. But there's like literally the brain studies have shown that the hand reaches for beautiful things. There's another reason
Mhm.
here. Like if we apply the design principles to this, we started, no one was really taking that concept of like, how can I create healthy habits through design? That's how, like you said.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, and it also, like, there's so much about nervous system regulation, but it's like when you see something beautiful, I feel like there's something like, there's something just like releasing about that and be like, okay, like I want to have that in my orbit in my life and like integrate that and being more attracted to it as you mentioned and like having that around in your house to be like, yeah, I'm gonna grab this scrunchie right now and do a resistant band exercise while I'm on a call.
Completely.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So I mean, there's truly beauty in everything and you have just I feel like you just have this train of thought and creative eye that's just like so incredible and just admirable as well.
So appreciate that. It's
Yeah.
I really have fallen in love with what I do. And you and I were talking a little bit about like what does the next year look like, and and part of it is like I like crafting, we have our core collections, but like I like story. My husband's a storyteller by trade. So like
Mhm.
we're doing our first like a couple of different like really exciting drops, and it's like how do we create this whole narrative around it?
Mhm.
And how do we
Mhm.
create this experience that people can have? And then again, we're like a small company, so we're going to do that maybe twice a year, but I'm really excited for that next iteration to be like,
Mhm.
okay, and how do we keep even more so like using these pieces, using movement and using, you know, content, great trainers and great experiences for people to have.
Mhm. Yeah, can you is there any sneak peeks ahead that what we can expect for Equipped to continue to support people and to move and live?
Yeah. I mean, we have some really fun products coming. Like I was doing my like I mean we've talked about this. Like products are my happy place and designing them. And I had a couple calls with factories last week. And I was like, oh, can you see what's in my, I feel like you could see what's in my head. Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? And they're like, shit, like some of them, are like, yeah, let's give that a go. And back to like being willing to fail and just to try. And things could look absolutely terrible or
Mhm.
not function. Cause that is, they have
Mhm.
to be both like, especially with some of our studio partners, like commercial grade functionality, our hotel partners, like cleanliness, um, but
Mhm.
then design. And I'm really excited about some of these pieces that we have coming, like the hair ties that you and I both have on.
Mhm.
Um, you have in your desk, I have in my head, and those were really fun because it's a Japanese post-consumer water bottle. Well, what's unique about them is the inside is the latex tubing, so it's stronger than anything on the market. It actually keeps your hair up, but when it's
Mhm.
on your disc, you can stretch your fingers. You could do resistance when you're flying. And it's such a weird thing. And that one came from, here's my teaser, is it came from a different product that we're developing with that same
Mhm.
material. But it was like a beautiful air. And we wouldn't
Mhm.
have a product that like I'm biased, but I really love. Um,
Mhm.
if we didn't like just be like, can we try this?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then we're gonna do in spring a really exciting event in Ojai. That's the other thing too, is I moved back to my hometown in Ojai and doing a ton more events up here and doing like we have a friend coming to town in April having a 40th birthday. So we're putting together a big workout event for her. And, you
Mm.
know, that's, up here. And it's an interesting place that's very different from where I grew up to where it is now. And I'm really happy to be back here.
Mhm. Yeah. I feel like Equipped aligns with the current Ojai vibe very well.
Totally. Little bit wellness, little bit cowboy, like little, yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, and you have such like a strong yes when you're and like intuition when you are like coming up with these ideas. Do you create space for creativity, or is it innately you? And when do you know if something is like a yes, like we need to create that?
That's a good question. Um, I think running the business is harder for me to sit and have the discipline to do, because also through that lens of, I don't look at it from like, I'm like, oh, I don't know, I need to hire a CMO. When in reality, marketing is events, which I love to do because I love humans.
Mhm.
It's telling stories of our products, and I love doing that, and my love having my husband help with those, and
Mhm.
partnerships, which I love. Like, we're launching Ritz Bacara in the rooms there, and that's, we just did a wellness weekend there and doing things like that. We're going to do Earth Day up there. Um, and so I think, to me, it's almost easier for me to sit in creativity, because also I kind of train the muscle when we lived in London for a year and I made the choice not to have a phone that went back to the States.
Mm.
And so
Mhm.
every single day I just had a journal, and my husband was working a lot. So I went to museums every morning. Like, it's such an incredible country that has buildings that are from hundreds of years old, thousands of years old. And
Mhm.
so, like, I didn't mind like being alone. So I'd be like, oh, I'm going to go to this museum, and then I'm going to go do a walking tour. And then I should go check this out. And I just brought a journal and would just sketch things that like inspired me. And like,
Mhm.
whether it be material or like the shape of leaves, I think is really interesting. And like, the five finger leaves, I'm like, oh, that kind of mimics a hand. Huh, what can we do? Like, that's interesting. Or like, so it's
Mhm.
creativity isn't the hard part for me as a human. It's taking ownership where I'm not good at running the company. You know,
Mhm.
I'm not a great with numbers. Like, I learned, now we've got great margins. I've learned how, because I've made so many mistakes.
Mhm.
Um, and hiring for my deficit, like, not my deficits, but where my strengths don't live.
Yep.
I remember, who works with me is incredible, and she is my perfect balance to, or even I'll be like, I see this in my head. We ran this and I said yes to this. And I said we would do an event in Scottsdale. And she's like, whoa, 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 wait a minute. Where are we doing it in Scottsdale? How many people? What does that look like? What needs to be there? Does it conflict with what we're already doing in this state or here? I'm like, oh, okay. So I almost go too fast for the impulse and the let's go, without stopping to breathe and to be like, is learning also that, like, is this also a good, because it still is a business, right? It's something I
Mhm.
love passionate about, but it has to also be a business. Um,
Mhm.
and so hiring people around me that help to balance that and
Mhm.
be willing to look at it through their eyes too,
Yeah.
of like, oh, that maybe that wasn't the right move. Okay, well, we tried it,
Mhm.
you
Yep.
know.
We all need those people that are complementary to us too. And to just know like where is my strength? What is stuff that I don't want to be doing either, to be able to delegate to actually have like the success and bring your vision to life.
Yeah. Yes. I mean,
Mhm.
shipping logistics, like, I hate all that stuff. Even with, like, back to one of the things that we're going to be launching, Equipt does have an app right now, but we are on the back end developing a next level version that will, kind of come on and replace that.
Mhm.
And with that is the content that I've learned that our customer wants, our
Mhm.
clients, our community wants. Um, And then even if they don't want it, some of it, I'm going to still make it, because it's also like, I want to show how you can use Equipped. We, did some amazing videos with Nancy, who lives in Ojai, who's been teaching Pilates 40 years. She's 67. You
Mhm.
know, let's show how we can use the weights. The education we learned is really, really important. So the app
Mhm.
is going to like supplement that and not take away, also because we have a lot of people that use our products with other trainers, other communities. And I love that,
Mhm.
being like, we're just like your cheeky best friend that like goes along too. And it's like, hey, like, not looking for it to be this gazillion-dollar moneymaker, looking for it to be something that's like just another little thing. And also, because I love material and tactile and journals, it's like, I'm like, yeah, we need our app, but we also need something. I've been wanting to make this book for a while, like these little super chic little booklets. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to do that too.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
having a team that can help to support where I can create the content and to be like, "And here you go."
And organize it, please,
And
and get
organize.
it out there. You touched on this as well, but why do you think being willing to fail and not knowing things and even like looking foolish is such an important part of building anything meaningful?
I think it's crucial because people are gonna have if you're doing something, I feel like innovative is enough of the overused word, but, like, if you're doing something innovative, you're doing something new, if you're doing something old, people are gonna have opinions and they're gonna have judgments.
Mhm.
So, silencing the noise, like, I mean, that's been art from art's the tale as old as time, right? Like,
Mhm.
Leonora Feeney is one of my favorite artists. She's, like, so rad, and she was considered, like, a female Picasso, right? She
Mhm.
was so eccentric, and also that wasn't a time when female artists were really welcomed in. It was a
Yeah.
like, male-dominated space, which also, like, running steel equipment.
Mhm.
When I would start to call and be like, "I have an idea," and they'd be like, "What, little girl?" You know? Then I also get people that were like, "Yes, I see
Mhm.
you, let's go."
Mhm.
Any questions you have, I'm here to support. But I think that's it, is, like, that was my I don't know why I went on a Leonora Feeney tangent. Like, but, she was just willing to look foolish and be eccentric and do what she saw in her head and what felt like her full body yes. And
Mhm.
I think that's really, really important. And if you can't, I mean, you have to be obsessed. Like, I work so much and it's not like I work so much and make a gazillion dollars. Like, no, I work a lot and I love what I do. And I am
Mhm.
so obsessed with it that, like, on off days, I'll be like, who wants to go to the steel yards? Like, let's take some welding classes. Um, but I think just failure is a part of it. And as long as you know that and don't get discouraged and you keep, I know I've said I wasn't previously very end result oriented. Now we're in a different place. Now it's grown from something that was just this, like, passionate idea that I needed to live in my life to I more and more of these products. And some of them, even my husband's like, wait, what? You know? Also, like, yesterday, I was like, "Yeah," my office is in my house, and I was like, "I wish this existed." So I took my journal and I took my pencil and I started sketching out with my daughter, and now
Mhm.
there's geez, so it's a different time, but I like to sketch first,
Yeah.
and my room is surrounded by, again, inspiration, so I've got, like, 1940s OG Balmain sketches to see how
Mhm.
people concepts that then become a part of life, the
Mhm.
part of other people's lives.
Mhm.
Um And so sketching first, something that I was like, I just woke up and was like, I wish this existed. Searched for it, searched for it. It's not in the fitness space. But I was like, it's like a super chic pinboard that when you can cover it up, it looks like a really high end. Like, I was like, oh, I want it to be covered, be open. Here's my
Mhm.
office. I'm done with the office. Close it. Now I don't see everything I have to do, and I can have a different emotional space in here. There's
Mhm.
not a really one of those markets. So I've already, like, contacted manufacturer and I was like, "Hey, something's in my head," because, again, we're coming up with other products, like,
Mhm.
our weights need a tray. So I already had, like, a brass metal wood guy, and I was like, "Can you maybe, like, toss something else on there for me?" I see it in my head, and then having the and well, I was like, "Now we're gonna take it to ChatGPT and see what they come up with, and they can help us to make the CADs." Like, I mean, she's 8,
Mhm.
and it's like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, okay, let's do that. I want one
Mhm.
for my room, but I don't want brass. I want blue."
I like how you're bringing her along for the ride. And what you're talking about is you see something so clearly in this artist. I'm sure she would see something so clearly. And it's finding those people like those manufacturers that they're like, yes, I see this in you and I see the potential and we can make this work to bring this to life. Because
Yeah.
there are going to be those people that are like, no, like, what are you doing? But there are those people that are going to be like, I see you so clearly. And I think that's even like in life. Like, how can we surround ourselves with those people
Yeah.
where, well, how can we first like be so comfortable in ourselves and like trusting our intuition and our ideas and surrounding ourselves with those people who like see us clearly. And
Yeah.
how has community supported Equip's evolution in your own?
I think it's been really important. I also think that like failure is a muscle. The more you get used to it and rejection and failure and people being like, that's having an opinion about whatever it is you're doing, the more
Mhm.
willing you are to kind of silence a lot of it
Mhm.
and silence and listen to it when you need to listen. Right. And
Yes.
that's what community does give you too, is that truth. And that, I mean, I think it's such a cool time to be a woman in business. Like I love being a part of We Shine Well. I'm so happy that we met and we met from a friend of mine, Lisa, Studio
Mhm.
MBR, who's like, you've got to join this because it's really genuine, authentic, positive, helpful, like community, you know?
Mhm.
And I think that's what it's such a fun time to be a female in business and with community right now. And I look at community for like equipped in what we're looking for out of movement and also like both intentional and both like, the lifestyle wise and also, in Ojai I've met like a couple of really cool women up here who are like, yeah, I wish I had a stronger business community. So
Mhm.
that's one of the reasons that I was like, we could go out for martinis and we'll do that too. But like, also, like third Friday of every month, let's strap on you wraps and go for a hike, you
Mhm.
know, with my friend Denise has these bars and like just doing these, we are all looking for that connection.
Mhm.
And you can read the studies about it, or you can also just go like, hey, there's a reason why people are having this like mass exodus from large cities that aren't, or even within the large cities, finding stronger senses of communities that are aligned with what they believe, are passionate about, need help with, are struggling with, like
Mhm.
other
Yep.
things.
Well, yeah, I mean, entrepreneurship can be lonely, and even we're in like a loneliness epidemic, and especially with like ChatGPT, like people are looking for more like I've heard so many people talk about how like this year there are going to be more in-person events. People are just craving more
Yes.
in-person connection than ever before, because even both of us are on a screen, we're working from home, and it's like, okay, like each day I'm like, I have to plan like being around other people, because I'm like, I need that energy around me to like be able to support and energize, because you can't fully get that through a screen, and nothing
Yeah.
beats in person.
No. Agreed.
Yeah. Well, and it's like even like I'm sure your community helps co-create like your products in a way, or like how do you show up for them? So there's also the balance of like how do you co-create, and then also like tune out people who are like that might not ever work.
Yeah. Well, and we're blessed to work with amazing trainers, right? So
Mhm.
some of these new products that we're launching, like I just sent out a sample box and I was like, hey, I really value the workouts that you do. And like, give me your feedback. Give me honest feedback. Is this 2 inches too long? How
Mhm.
you use this product. Do you see it? Is there use? And
Mhm.
even with like, we are coming out with a handheld weight.
Mhm.
Um, for that, I'm like, let's throw it out there. Let's see. We've had people be like, do you make this? Would you make this? And now
Mhm.
it's like this place that it's like, here you go. Here's our samples. What do you think?
Mhm.
And then also one of the things that to that too is like building with community. We're starting to tap into trainers, but also like evangelists of, I met this friend Mare just because she liked Equipped and we met online and we just were, and now she's probably going to like help us grow in like Nashville and Louisville and like these micro community
Mhm.
leaders are
Mhm.
something that we're leaning into in the new year because I can't be everywhere all at once. And
Yeah.
I don't want, because you want this to live and breathe outside and with other people's energy too.
Mhm.
Like in Miami, and then we're having these like micro leaders in Miami and New York, in Nashville, in yeah,
Mhm. I mean, I feel like especially in this day and age, from like evangelists to like community is key for
yeah,
marketing and growth, and like supporting you, but also like supporting the growth of like businesses and ourselves like collectively at large.
Yeah. Yeah. And back to it being a balance of both, something that I'm so passionate about and so happy to be bringing on and partnering with evangelists. It's also a business. So looking at it
Mm-hmm.
from the kind of dual lenses of like, okay, great. What do you see each month? Like, what are being very, very clear? I used to be such a poor communicator, and
Mm-hmm.
now learning how to like very clearly set up expectations so no one's disappointed. Everyone would prefer that, right? If out
Mm-hmm.
the gate we're like, okay, are we going to do this? We're going to do this. Let's go. Define this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you're even working with these evangelists, how do you kind of like teach them or like support them in being evangelists of like what do you want every person who comes in contact with or uses Equipped to feel?
I like that. Um, I want them to feel like a sense of, this sounds like I've never actually like, I want them to feel a sense of empowerment,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be a minute, whether it be an hour. Like this feeling of, and one of our taglines is, you got this. Like it only takes a minute. And
Mm-hmm.
I want them to feel worthy, empowered, like this innate sense of like, fuck yeah. You know, there was a
Mm-hmm.
woman that called once for customer service, and she was in her mid 80s and she was so cute. But because I answered, we had this amazing conversation, and she's like, honey, just thank you. Thank you for making weights that fit the old crazy weird birds like me. And I
Oh.
hope it fits the crazy young birds out there too. She goes, but thank you. And now to this day, I'll text and be like, Kathy, how are those knees working? My mom's name is Kathy. I'm not referring to my mom,
Uh-huh.
but like, you know, and it's that perspective of having people feel inspired, having people feel like the endorphins are going, and also this idea
Mm-hmm.
that they can look at things through a different lens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I just like love and am inspired by just like such intentionality that you have behind everything and just like a zest for life. Like for you can't even like do it justice of like I've met you in person multiple times, and
Yeah.
it's like your energy is just like I feel like a fireball in like the best of ways where I'm like, "Oh my god, like yes. Let's move. Let's do life. Let's bring this idea to life. Whatever we need to be doing or like is exciting, like what lights you up, like go do it."
Yes, I love that thing.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
as we close, what is one reminder you want listeners to take with them about movement, design, movement on their own terms?
It only takes a minute. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just take the step. Rah, rah,
Mm-hmm.
pun intended. Unintentional pun intended. You know,
Mm-hmm.
take the step. Like, strap on some U-wraps, ideally. But take the step. Just move your body. If you're sitting at your desk, and also listen to where your body needs, what's it telling you? Is your sciatica getting you? You need to strengthen the outside of that booty. Like, get to sidestep and just toss on a tune and get to moving. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so easy to overthink everything in life and get in
Mm-hmm.
our head and start to feel self-conscious, and adopt a little more of that, like kind of fuck it mentality. Move your body, throw some spaghetti at the wall. If you've got a crazy business idea, you know, give it a shot. Worst thing that happens, you fail. And you're probably going to learn something from each of those failures. Cause again, it's a muscle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And where can listeners find you, Equipped, follow your journey, and move with you?
Yeah. I'm Kodi Kitchen Berg. My main name is Kitchen. My husband jokes that's the only domestic thing about me, admittedly. Um,
Do you like
I
to
make a
cook?
mean smoothie and cheese plate. That's it. And salads. Those three things I could do. I don't like to cook. But Kodi Kitchen Berg on Instagram, on LinkedIn, um, and then Equipped Movement on everywhere. On YouTube, on Instagram, all the places. And I'm
Perfect.
in a, if you come to Ojai, come see me. We'll
Yes.
move.
And we'll add all the things in the show notes. We have a link for a discount too to get your U wraps on and start moving anywhere you are. Thank you so much for taking this time and joining us. This was so fun.
Thank you for having me. I loved it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to the We Shine Well podcast. If today's conversation lit something up in you, I'd love for you to share it with a friend, leave us a review, and dive deeper each week by subscribing to our Substack in the show notes to interact with guests and discover more resources to expand you. Until next time, keep trusting your right next step and keep shining, my friend.